Hello, this is Becky Katz, and I am going to talk about the electronic databases that I utilized. Firstly, I went to, excuse me just a moment. Got two files open here. So I went to several, but first I went to the Historical Jewish Press Archives, an archive of Jewish newspapers and periodicals. They partner with Tel Aviv University. They contain over 340 years of newspapers and published across time, obviously, in different countries, different languages. I typed in pogroms in Eastern Europe, and the first thing that popped up was the American Jewish News, dated May 16th, 1919. This was a weekly newspaper that was available for 5 cents a copy. They reported on a number of pogroms in this particular article across Germany, Poland, Ukraine, and the title of the article was Pogroms in Eastern Europe Grow in Brutality. Reported on a equivalent article in a Hormel, Poland newspaper called Parani, where 1,400 people were murdered. Someone else who was also listed in the newspaper article, who had passed through this particular town in Hamel, I think I said Hormel, Hamel, and ended and claimed that the number killed were beyond count. There was also information about pogrom in Odessa from an Odessa newspaper, Odesky Novesta. That's a newspaper, I believe, or new in Russian. I took Russian for 4.5 years, but I can't recall all of it because I haven't used it. Another piece in the newspaper article reported that there was pogrom fever in another city where placards were being distributed by possible perpetrators claiming, the Jews killed all these babies in Easter, so we're going to massacre 1 in 100. Come with us. Other reports indicated that some of these were being participated in by the police. Of course, immediately reminds me of the Tulsa white supremacist attack on the Black residents of Tulsa who were living peacefully, upper middle class Black community that was destroyed one night. People murdered, their homes destroyed. I also went to another site that was not as easily navigatable. It was Yerusha. They gave you a lot of data in the center of the page, and on the far right, there were a number of different university and archival resources. You could choose the language, you could choose a time period, but there was no way to indicate all this information that was varied in the center where you would find it. So you really had to spend a lot more time trying to find the specifics of what you were looking for. Then I chose another one, but the good part about this was it did list information. For example, for me on pogroms in Eastern Europe, it had links about specific times and pogroms in Eastern Europe. It had a link to Bialystok pogrom. It had not a link, but information. Let's see. It indicated a pogrom in Odessa, 1905. It indicated a case that was before the Soviet court in 1930 of a case in a pogrom in 1905, and a publication that was anti-Semitic, Pocheyev Lavra of 1913. So some of that information I could use to search in other particular electronic databases for information about. So that was helpful. The last thing I'll mention is searching in another place for data in the Posen Library, where I was able to find not a publication, but a piece of art that reflected the aftermath of a pogrom where a man finds the body of his daughter who's been assaulted and murdered. So that's my report, and I hope you can glean something from it. And here is where I will stop.